Alright, okay. We'll cut the intro a little bit short. How you guys doing? Welcome to episode number 4 of the Coffee Hour. We thought it would be fun to do an OSA laser showcase type of thing. I'll be your host for the day again. Is my camera stand still? Oh, there we go. How's it going? We had ever so slight amount of technical difficulties. Lil wee tad. Basically, we were about to start. Okay, so let me backtrack a little bit. Peppy and Smoogie are obviously living in Japan, and it is currently 8 in the morning there, if I'm not mistaken. So they had to basically rush into the office early morning, right? So that means that there's not that much time to prepare, but usually, you know, it's gonna be fine if you have 20 minutes to prepare and everything's set up. So we're about to go live. We're about to set up the webcam and the audio, and then Discord crashes entirely. Entire outage across the field. So then we moved on to Skype. Skype audio didn't work, so we're currently gonna be in a TeamSpeak server. Because, you know, TeamSpeak, everyone still uses TeamSpeak. My girlfriend happens to still have a TeamSpeak server, so we're currently, you know, making do with what we have. So I apologize. Also, usually they would have a screen share of what I have going on in terms of OSA laser. That's not gonna happen because Discord's down. So, you know, it'll be a little bit wobbly, but we'll make do. We'll be fine. We'll hold each other's hands, we'll hold on tight, and we'll walk through this together, and it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. So again, if you're unaware, obviously, everyone knows who Peppy himself is. Smoogie is a fellow Australian, not to me a fellow Australian, to Peppy a fellow Australian, who has been working on the OSA dev team for a long time, who also will have a lot to say on the topic. So he will also be joining us today. Let me turn this down a little bit. There we go. Take a sip of my tea. This is the biggest. It's basically a vase, but it's not full of coffee. It's full of green tea. So I'm a little bit, you know, we went from beer to coffee actually last episode to now tea. At least, you know, keeping the what's the word? Diversity in there. Let me switch over to these fine gentlemen really quick.
Sound resumed.
Hello there. How's it going?
Hey.
Oh, there we go.
let me mute something and something else. Hey.
How you guys doing?
Pretty well.
Yeah, I heard you just arrived. Wait, so Peppy, you arrived at the office like 7:40. Smoogie, were you already there?
Yeah, I was here for like 20 minutes before that.
Oh, as well? Okay. Are you staying with Peppy, or do you guys have both living arrangements, or is it?
We live separately, but we're in opposite directions.
That is a very awkward question to ask. I just realized I didn't mean to make it awkward.
Yeah, everyone at the office tends to live at their own places. You know, we don't bunk up.
Okay. So, well, obviously everyone knows who you are, Peppy. Smoogie, tell us a little bit about how you initially joined the dev team, what you kind of do on a day-to-day basis, because currently you're in Japan, but you're originally Australian as well. What's your story?
Yeah, so basically, like my joining of OS is a little bit of a cringe story, so I'm not gonna go into it too much. But I
mean, I feel like 50% is kind of that 50% of people.
Sure, fair enough. But I used to be active developing tools for the community a long time ago, and then at some point it was a joke by a few of my friends at the time to email Peppy and then ask to work on OS, and he said, yeah, basically we've been following for a while. And
that's really funny. Oh yeah, guys, I know the audio is not great. It's because TeamSpeak stuff. We'll be fine. That's funny. That's like the ultimate story of just ask and it happens. The Anime Expo thing was a very similar situation. It's funny how that works. All right, awesome. So you'll also be joining us to give a little bit of what's the difference between you and Peppy in terms of what you guys work on a daily basis, as you guys are both developers.
A lot of our work is sort of intertwined. I think we both have our fair share of the direction of the game. Maybe in different areas, each of us, but yeah.
Okay, so just a lot of overlap and taking each other's workload depending on who is currently doing what and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess the main difference I see is that I'm dealing with a lot more of the infrastructure, the community side of things, or not necessarily different parts of the community, but Smoogie is able to focus more on the laser development specifically.
Okay.
Which is something like I would like to do, but obviously I have other commitments which get in
Yeah,
the way
because
of
you're
that.
very hands-on, so that takes away like a huge chunk of your time. Yeah, totally understandable. Well,
yeah,
sorry.
continue.
We have a slight delay because Australia, US, long way. So if we talk over each other, you know, that's the reason. Now, I wanted to start with something that we've also touched on in the first episode, in which you were also on. But, you know, given that this is purely for OSA Laser, it's worth repeating. Could you give us a short contextualized history of OSA Laser, when you guys actually started working on it, maybe when actually Smoogie joined in on working on it, and how the vision of what OSA Laser is supposed to be changed over time?
Yeah, so laser, I guess, development started, what, 2 years ago now?
About that.
Yeah, and we were just, you know, trying to get some new features into OS. There's a lot which I wanted to see added, but yeah, along the way, as we discussed in the previous coffee hour, shit kind of went. Wait, is this supposed to be PG or something? Stuff got a bit out of hand as far as trying to mangle the old code in a way that we could use it. So we were kind of dealing with this legacy code, and we hit the limits of it. And I kind of just broke and said, no, I'm not working with this anymore. So
Broke down crying.
yeah, pretty much. And I reached out to everyone else, all the other developers that have submitted code over the years, and we basically just discussed a full rewrite of the game.
It was pretty frustrating at first, the not being able to implement flights new designs into the game. So
yeah, I can imagine, because eventually over time, like, I'm sure there's stuff that you've wanted to implement for 2 years now that's just gonna be in the new build, but you can't push it out yet because it's not, quote unquote, it's not a release successor yet. So you're just kind of sitting on your hands. Okay, to contextualize, I'm sure everyone at least has heard of OSA Laser being kind of OSU 2.0. So what you're saying, you know, completely rewriting the framework, everything behind it, building it from the ground up. And then obviously a huge part for end users is a humongous visual overhaul, a lot of improved usability, as well as stuff like, you know, the ability to implement other game modes, etc. Am I saying that right? I think that's the general gist.
yeah,
Right.
sure. I mean, we can call it game modes. We've started calling them rule sets ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah, internally they're rule sets because in the old code base, game modes were an individual screen in the game, and it got a bit confusing. So now we have screens and rule sets.
Oh, god.
Call them what you want.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm gonna go with game modes, otherwise I get confused. All right. So, short overview of the different aspects of OSA Laser. Actually, let me pull it up really quick. We have the latest build running. If you were actually unaware as a viewer, whatever the most current OSA Laser build is actually uploaded very frequently on GitHub. If you want to check it out for yourself, you can just Google OSA Laser and give it a whirl.
Yeah.
So
So definitely reading the feedback. Like if you jump on Laser and log in, there's a Laser specific channel which we read pretty much every day. So if you do have any feedback, that's an easy way to get it to us.
Oh, you're right, and it also it actually saves everything from before.
Yeah, you can already read previous chats.
Even in the OSA channel, everyone's like, "Red Discord." We know, we're very aware. No, honestly, I mean, it looks absolutely beautiful. Did Flight do all of the designing himself?
Yeah,
Wow,
all Flight.
that's pretty incredible. So I tried getting, as part of the showcase, I tried getting two Hosu to work, or as it officially is called, Vitaru, which is Toho, but integrated into OSU. which I did want to showcase for a little bit, but obviously, as is the case with works in progress, the moment we were about to go live, it actually stopped working. So,
Oh no.
yeah, well, it works, but I don't get any songs. It doesn't show me the songs that I would want to play in it, unless you guys are... It's like empty.
There is a workaround for that, but it may crash after you do it. Like if you go into the OS mode at the top in the toolbar.
Oh, okay.
You'll get the songs back, and then choose the song you want, and click the Vitaru icon and hit enter straight after. Like before it actually selects no song.
Okay, all right, hold on. Oh, before it actually.
Like click and enter straight away. And it will load.
No, I didn't. No, I.
Not fast enough.
We tried. I'm not fast enough. I'm slow. That's the conclusion. Anyway, you guys have the stream open? Because initially you were gonna have a screen share of actually what I had going. Now you're gonna see the same thing with just a slight delay. Actually, I'm gonna turn off the audio we got going on here. Turn on some laser audio. All right, where's my tablet pen when I need it? Here we go. So honestly, it looks absolutely beautiful. To what extent would someone already be able to actively play on it? It doesn't have any score submissions, right?
It does not have score submission.
Score submission is one of the things that we're going to wait until pretty much the end to implement.
Yeah, as I previously said, we're going to be focusing on multiplayer to start with, and score submission will be the absolute last thing added because we're still not too sure about the ranking system and how everything is going to come together. So it's more like finish everything else and then we'll deal with that.
In the meantime, I'm showing that I'm a 100k player. So this is the new default skin. The main thing, honestly, that instantly jumped out to me is the slider behavior. Outside of it being all very visually pleasing,
yep,
the slider behavior is very interesting. It adds very subtle improvement, but it looks so good.
Yeah, and that is a toggle, of course. Like everything else, we're kind of going crazy, making sure every new thing we add that people could possibly get pissed off at is going to be a toggle setting. So if there's something you don't like about the new design, you'll likely be able to go back to the old one.
That's awesome, honestly. Because the one thing that I really like as well is the fact that even though it looks infinitely better, it still very much has the same feel, just everything improved.
Yeah, so I mean, I let Flight have full control over the designs, but my words to him before that all started was that we need to keep it feeling like OS. Like, you know, the OS interface has a very nice feel to it. Just moving through it and how everything is kind of seamless.
Yeah, no, I definitely, it's beautiful how everything transitions into each other, and I wish that I could be playing on it non-stop. Is there any chances that before official release, actual score submissions would become a thing already, or is that something that is just gonna be on the horizon for an official release?
Well, I mean, right now we're gonna do a official release with just multiplayer to start with.
Okay.
It's gonna be a very different experience to what you can get on stable. So, it'll encourage people to have both copies installed, and they'll both interact with the beatmaps. They'll both be able to read from the same beatmaps and stuff. So
you don't need two directories full of 100 gigs of.
We'll see about that. It kind of has a very different format for storing beatmaps, so I can't promise anything in there. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Okay. And another big part of it was to implement a lot of the website features into the actual client itself. What would be the best part for me to go to demonstrate?
So you can click through on any beatmap there. You can also go to your own profile, and we just added in the top ranks so you can see them in your profile. So if you go from the top right, select your profile.
There was a way where I could actually see the current ranked players, right?
Yeah. So in your profile, you can actually click through on one of the top ranks in your profile. You can click through to the beatmap.
Oh, really?
That's probably the most advanced interaction we have right now.
Oh, cool.
and that's kind of the direction we're going for. So
Yeah.
everything will just be a flowing experience, which is in the game rather than the website.
It looks beautiful. Again, if you
can see.
Sorry,
You
go
can see
ahead.
online users just by the third icon up the top right from the left. That was a bad way of explaining it. The icon with people.
Oh, there we go. Who is this? Who is this guy? Oh, and he's actually rank 1 instead of rank 2. That's the biggest improvement that I've seen. Why is that actually a thing? Random question. I might just be unaware, but why?
Is he currently rank 2?
On his profile, whenever he is online, it says that he's rank 2.
Really? In game, you mean?
Yeah, in game.
Okay. Look into that. No one has reported this, so
I think that the general assumption is that it's because of banned players that might have been number 1 in the past.
Nah.
No, that's not.
I don't think that's what's causing it. There's
Okay.
something else to it for sure.
Or just you typed in HFIC forever, number 1 in my heart, somewhere. All right, so that's a general overview. As you can tell, that it is a major improvement visually. It looks absolutely stunning. Major props to Flight, but it has a lot of the same feel. So what are some changes that we can probably expect in each of the game modes specifically that you can think of? Maybe gameplay-wise or back-end, or not too in-depth, just whatever pops out right away when asked the question.
Start with Awesome Catch.
So, okay, with OS mode, let me just start by saying that in general, like we've had an ongoing discussion as to how much we want to change up the game.
Okay.
Because there's two real options we have. One is to keep compatibility with the old ranking system, which means implementing everything 1 for 1. Or the other option is to fix all the problems that we've had over the years, all the little quirks that
Got a creepy
people
background
are
person.
Used to.
Right? No, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And I'm leaning towards fixing everything.
And what do you mean by fixing? Like, what are some of the most obvious things that you run into that you feel need fixing?
For instance,
I mean, there's a lot when you're going through the old code. You see a lot of edge cases, little tidbits here and there, little cases that...
Two things I'll bring up. One is the slider accuracy for slider touching the start of sliders. That's the one that's known by most people. It's already implemented. That's a Score v2 thing as well.
Mm-hmm.
That I see as an actual implementation error from the start. Like, it should have been that way from the start.
Yeah, I agree with that. Again, even though it pains me, I agree.
People have they're used to it being that way, and there's the argument that mappers have mapped with that in mind. So we have to take that into consideration. But there's other small things like just the general behavior of sliders and slider ticks. There's edge cases where if a slider is 50 milliseconds in one direction, a tick will appear, and 50 milliseconds in the other, it doesn't appear. And in catch, the little droplets that come down in the slider in catch.
Right.
I was
the banana. No, not the bananas. Oh, the little droplets in between the. Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, the ones in the slider, but not the main ticks.
Right.
I was because I just got catch working recently. Implementing those, I saw the implementation was absolutely shocking. Like I don't know how it worked until now, and like going through it, it's like, oh yeah, I can see why I did it that way, but at the same time, I want to fix it now. I don't want to just re-implement that same crap.
Right. Okay.
And coming from a different angle, we also want to add new features. Like there's a couple of new hit object types for OS standard mode, which I already have in mind.
I think that most people actually probably haven't heard of that. Do you mind elaborating on some of them that you'd be willing to share, or?
Well, the most obvious one is a hold note. If you've played OS stream, you can probably see kind of the direction which a hold note would go, but I have something on top of that which I feel like, in OS stream it's on iOS, so it's in a multi-touch environment where holding on one note and tapping somewhere else on the screen, it's a fun thing to do. But if on PC, because you only have one input, if you're just holding a note, it's kind of, you know, boring. And
Yeah.
like a slider would, a quick repeat slider would probably feel better. So,
Right.
yeah, we're going to implement holds in a slightly different way, which will feel nice to play on a desktop environment.
It would pretty much be the same concept as a slider in terms of holding it down, just a different implementation of how you would actually go about playing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to reveal the full details yet because only because I want to test the implementation first and make sure it's actually works well.
Yeah, I think for every single game mode, we've got mechanics sort of in the back of our minds, but we're trying to get feature parity right now to the old OS client.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No, I can imagine that that's going to raise a ton of questions in the back end of how do you actually handle the the old maps that wouldn't have that implementation versus the ones that do. Score v2 sliders you recalculate. We'll get into that a little bit later because those are part of the community questions as well. But I can imagine that is a lot of stuff to really put on the drawing board, scratch out, put it on again, scratch out.
Anything
and again,
I mean,
sorry, go ahead.
We don't want to be limited by compatibility. That's the main angle we're taking right now. At the same time, we're aiming for feature parity.
Right.
We're not saying like, oh, because stable does it this way, we have to do it that way.
Yeah, I think that's important. That's even though that is the type of thing that's hard to do, especially if players are looking at it and they're like, no, I really don't like the idea of that. Yeah. But that's the only way you're really going to make an improved product. So, any
good.
ideas for Mania and Tycho? Wow, that took me a second.
Well, I've been getting a lot of suggestions over the years, just even before Laser, for features for Mania, especially. Things like showing the beat divisor as part of the coloration of the notes. Having
as in like same as Step Mania?
I mean, it could be, yeah. Like Step Mania
Someone in the frame is doing a very hard no.
Be a mod.
I'm against bombs personally because I see it as like fake difficulty. It's just like visual distractions, you know.
Gotcha.
But then every single mod is a visual distraction as well. So
yeah, and for that reason, I have opinions about certain mods.
No, I see. For me personally, slider streams are a thing that's like a similar thing, like artificial difficulty type of thing. No, I can totally understand that angle. Okay. So changes in each of the 4 existing game modes. Let me check what else we have. Any scoring changes? I see Smoogie added standardized / exponential and leaderboards. What do you mean by that, Smoogie? In our prep doc.
Lots of scoring changes. So for V2, as it was implemented in OS stable, wasn't really modular. We couldn't recompute scores based on just like raw data. We have to like run through the replay for the map and then calculate the score at the end, right?
Yeah, so the basic thing is stable scores in OS until now, they've always been calculated on a per hit object basis. So you have to actually have the full replay data so you can play through it hit object by hit object and calculate the score at that end.
That's a little bit inefficient. So we're changing scoring in OS Laser to have 2 types of modes. We have a standardized scoring, which is similar to Score V2 in that it's 1 million cap, but it's computed based on just the maximum combo achieved and essentially your accuracy. So you still have like the combo portion, you still have the accuracy portion and the bonus portion, but now it's just based on the highest combo achieved. So we can just...
So it means because the max combos are submitted with the score, and it's a very simple number, it's a simple metric to use rather than the the ongoing combo through the map. It means we can easily, derive a score from just the 300, 150 max combo accuracy values alone.
Does that also mean that it takes into account other combo amounts that might not be part of that max combo initially? Or wait, do you use misses to calculate that?
Yeah, that will only come into accuracy. So it's only taking the max combo into account.
Right, interesting. Okay. So no
Yeah, so
changes
done
yet
some
in,
calculations.
for example, the fact that you hit the hardest part of the map that will not yet give more PP than, you know, having missed on the hard part but doing everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then exponential scoring is sort of a new way to replicate the current scoring. It's going to be a toggle to switch between both of these. And we hope that the exponential scoring is going to be sort of trying to replicate the old scoring for people that
exponential.
want it.
Okay, right. I was wondering what you meant by exponential scoring, but that's just referring to the current system where it just the you know,
It just
scoring
increases.
numbers get out of control. Just
Yeah.
infinite heights.
Big but. They're both equal. They're equivalent. So the order of ranks will not change no matter which display mode you have turned on. Which
Right.
means that we can make it a client-side toggle, you know, client-wide. So all the scoreboards in the game you see will either be exponential scoring or standardized 1 mil scoring. So I know there's two camps that prefer one or the other.
Yeah.
What we're trying to do is appease both of those while still
Okay.
allowing everything to be correct.
That's really nice, because I was thinking of the people that, you know, play for score, because there's people like those, like that as well, so they don't have to worry about the fact that they're just gonna lose all their score, and now it's gonna say, I don't know, 1.7 million total instead of 5 quadrillion. Okay. So
It's
what?
not exponential, it's quadratic, says Jaishan. Yeah, that's probably true. But we're gonna use exponential because it's easier.
So, website integration, anything else to add to that? I at the panel, I remember that we had an Anime Expo, you mentioned something about OSA Direct not necessarily anymore being a supporter feature, possibly?
Yep. Yeah.
Do you still feel the same way on that?
Yeah, so OS Direct is going to be more than just map downloading for a start. It's going to involve skins and rule sets. You know, it's not just a place to download your beatmaps anymore.
Right.
As for being non-supporter accessible, it will be. I don't know how much it will be. Like, we still want to, you know, make sure that there's some incentive to buy a supporter.
Yeah,
because
of course.
that keeps the game running. And I think a lot of people do. I wish that everyone would buy a supporter just to support the game. A lot of people, I think, do it to get in-game downloading.
Right.
So we're going to definitely allow a subset of maps to be available, and whether that's the featured artist maps or the newest ranked maps, and there'll be no search. We haven't really decided where the cutoff is.
Right.
But it's safe to say that as a new player coming into the game, you will be able to, you know, experience it without.
You wouldn't feel as limited as you would right now, where it's like, where do I download packs? Which packs do I get? I did the first beatmap pack, and now I'm playing Disco Prince.
Yeah, I mean,
what am I?
the reason, my main reason behind this is I don't want people exiting the game to the website, so there has to be some implementation of OS Direct to allow for that.
Are you planning on still maintaining the beatmap pack type of scenario where all the new ones are packed together and would possibly be able to download packs of new ones via Direct? Is that a thought at all that has been considered?
Haven't really thought that far. We could probably have like playlists or packs or something that bundle them together, but at the end of the day, Direct is still going to just be downloading individual maps.
Right.
That's just how the back end works.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
So anything from news to player ranks to OSA Direct, well, which already is in game, but basically the idea is to implement everything into the client itself. If I'm
Yep.
okay, all right. The stuff that has been implemented looks amazing. What is the main thing that is still missing from that? The new stuff, I guess. The main front page type of stuff. Would that be on
forums.
the main menu? The forums?
Sorry, say it. What was that?
It's gonna be
So what is
Say that
this
again?
The main stuff that still seems to be missing is the actual front page of the new OSU site.
Right. As in the splash page for new users, or
Would that be on the main menu, or would that? It's okay.
sure I
It's
follow
early.
the question.
No, it's fine. I'm probably not explaining it perfectly either.
like how much of the game?
As in displaying news and stuff in the game.
Yeah, how much of the website is going to be displayed in game? Like, will you be able to see the front page, the news, the forums?
Someone in chat is very a lot more verbal than I am. It's called a homepage. I was unaware of that term apparently in my vocabulary.
Yeah, so things like the news are going to be added in game. The design will be different, obviously, and but yeah, we want to make all the information that's available on the website available in game.
Right. Okay.
So anything missing that
we
is
made
on
it.
the front page will. Yeah.
Okay. So
and there's not going to be any web views. Like we're not going to half-ass this. It's all going to be natively implemented in the game.
Right. Okay. Multiplayer is another that's seems to be the main thing that you always mention, because I know your personal views regarding what the game should be or how it should be played is more towards multiplayer than it is towards single play. I don't want to put words in your mouth. So multiplayer is going to have a big overhaul. One of the things you already mentioned is that lobby sizes are going to be a thing of the past. So you can make a lobby that is, however, infinite, basically. What are some other things in terms of multiplayer that you might have already mentioned in episode 1, but it's worth reiterating, that will change with the coming of OSA Laser?
I don't know how far we went into it in the last coffee hour, but yeah, the plan is basically to make multiplayer very very diverse. In let's say when you make a new room in multiplayer.
Is there already something in the current client that I can go into, or is that not yet?
There is not. We haven't touched on multiplayer. Oh. That's like one of the areas which we're eager to focus on, but we're kind of getting everything around it done first.
I'm gonna click the buttons and see what happens. Match is not ready yet for use. Match song select. Oh, I crashed it.
Oh no.
Oh no, I didn't. Wait, no. It just took a moment to load. All right. Yeah. Okay, we're good. Okay.
I haven't been down that path for a while. Yeah. So when you make a lobby, you're going to be deciding things like the time frame, whether it should be synchronous or asynchronous play.
Synchronous play meaning people are going to join at the same time and play versus being able to join at different times.
Multiplayer has been like everyone has to hit ready and you start at the same time, but
yeah,
going forward you'll be able to be like, well, I want to have a 1 hour time period and people can just jump in, play the song. You can choose how many times they're allowed to play it, or the number of songs in the playlist. And yeah, after that 1 hour, it's gonna send a notification to the players. If they're not still in the lobby, then they can see the results.
Okay, would that also mean that people would possibly be able to play with double time with other players not playing with double time?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, it does? That's awesome. Okay, that's something that I run into over and over. Okay, that's really cool.
In fact, I think even for synchronous, we can support that going forward. Like the only reason we didn't until now is all the scoreboards that you see on the side of the screen when you're playing in multiplayer, they're updated in real time. So if you have a DT player in the match, they will just shoot to the top.
Yeah.
We don't have a way in the old client to delay that to synchronize everything up, but going forward, I think we will.
Okay. How about someone in chat? It's very interesting. I'm just going to throw this in here. Will there be any special like referee slots type of thing? How's the 20 client? Not to get too off the path. Any thoughts on that?
I think tournament stuff is going to be implemented.
Yeah, we're like, as I said, we're focusing on multiplayer first, and that's going to involve addressing anything that any tournament wants in the game.
Right.
Yeah, even like drawings is going to be a part of the multiplayer experience.
Yeah, so if you want to run your own tournament, you can just bring up the drawing screen and everyone will be able to see it, I guess, in the match.
Wow. All right. Okay, that's way ahead. Cool. Any thoughts on the general graphic design? Like, I obviously not to speak for Flight. Saying, I want an improved design with a very old feel. Any other stuff that might come to mind?
The main thing for me is the fluidity of the transitions. Being able to open any screen and have it, fade from the previous screen. Not necessarily fade, but it's going to interact with the previous screen in a way that makes sense. So every single element in the game, every button, every animation, we've designed it in a way that feels like it should exist that way.
Right.
Even though they're 2D objects, 2D vector, single solid color objects, we've been trying to make it feel as it should.
No, it all feels incredibly cohesive. Like any switch that you make, even when you go into a map, it's absolutely beautiful. I think there's even a little, whatchamacallit, when you're in a break during a song, there's actually a little box that shows you how many seconds the break is, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
all
and
that stuff.
Seconds is going to change to beats because a lot of people brought up that beats makes a lot more sense.
It does.
Seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, just little things like being able to drag the music controller if you bring that up and just like drag it from its initial position. Just little things that move in nice ways.
That's a wonderful way of phrasing it. I like it. We'll stick to that.
User interface elements that you can play with. Like I like making UIs fun to play with, not just there to do it for a purpose.
Yeah, like player profiles, being able to customize what you have where, etc.
Yep.
Okay. How about the editor and beatmap creation in general? I know there's obviously it's a whole different subject is Mod V2 or not Mod V2. Is it called Mod V2? Now I'm confused.
Mod V2?
New modding.
The modding, yeah, we call it beatmap discussions officially.
Okay. A lot of stuff on that side. Anything worth talking about in the actual editor in the game?
I actually have like no idea. Like because Flight's editor designs are the first things that he worked on. So a lot of the beatmap discussion stuff hasn't been designed in game yet.
Right.
Yeah, but the end goal is obviously to have the ability to mod in the game.
Yeah.
I doubt that will be out when Lazer first gets an official public release.
Yeah.
It's just going to be the standard editor.
Coming soon.
But yeah, that's the end goal. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
And I mean, Smoogy's been working on some pieces of the editor, so if you open it up right now, you'll be able to see the new timeline navigation control.
Mm-hmm. So you got a beautiful little WAV file going on? So
Yeah, we finally got that in there. It feels, if you zoom in and zoom out, hold control and use the mouse wheel, you can get some pretty smooth zooming happening.
I was doing the granny click on the left.
Oh yeah.
At the bottom we have the actual hit elements. I'm not familiar myself at all with.
So the bottom timeline, that panel there is going to include the speed, the back speed, and the current time, I think.
Yeah, it's currently the design we're working with from Flight is very similar to the old editor.
Okay.
And I think we're going to be iterating on that to improve it because the old editor it works, but I don't think the user experience is anything special.
That bottom timeline has already changed, so.
Yeah,
okay.
the thing you see at the bottom with the lines aren't going to be there. They're not going to be lines anymore. They're going to be switch.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry?
And bars. A lot more intuitive than bars.
Okay.
But sort of going for that in general, the not hiding any information from the users.
How about something like 2B? That might be a very controversial thing or very difficult. Like mapping that is based on kind of glitching out the system, bugging out the system. Not sure what it would be called in practice.
My personal opinion on that is if it's a fun thing to do,
right,
then we either need to support it or add a new hit object type which plays exactly like it.
Okay. So it would be on the horizon, possibly.
Yeah, I think 2B is something that will not go away. Put it that way.
I'd say yes, but it's not like one of my focuses. At least it won't be for a long time.
No, that's on the part of adding new things to rule sets, adding new hit object types, and changing things around. That's after we get the initial stuff done. But
yeah.
If you tried playing a 2B map right now, it may be broken. I don't know, and we're not really worried about that until everything is final, and then we think about compatibility.
Right, yeah, of course. You can't go worrying about niche borderline situations before everything is finished. Skinning is obviously another large aspect. You already mentioned in the episode 1 of the Coffee Hour that there will be support for vector images, stuff like that. Anything else you can add possibly?
I think we should probably leave skinning for a separate coffee hour in the future, like once we get to it, because we're still very much avoiding it in our we've considered it in implemented things in the game, but we haven't started working on it yet.
Okay.
I can touch on the vector thing quickly. We don't have vector support right now. It wouldn't be too hard to add it in, but you are going to be able to have things have the sprites at any resolution you want, and well, we do kind of have vector support because you can going forward in the skinning system, you can just code your skin, so you can make boxes in a YAML code file, or when we figure out how it's going to be structured. so you can make vector objects using code.
Okay.
And you'll be able to do. I mean,
perhaps we can like at some point support even importing object models or something like that.
We'll see about that.
Yeah. Another thing you mentioned was that it's going to be implemented in OSA Direct as well, right? Where you can just download skins, just like you would on those skinning websites right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm really excited. So much. It all sounds so beautifully cohesive, which is exactly what you're going for. But it's awesome to see everything, come together over such a long period of time. I initially wanted to do a little short to Hosu, or as it is officially called, Vitaru mini showcase, and it worked 2 hours ago, worked an hour ago, and then it stopped working half an hour ago, so that won't be possible. But game modes like that, what was your initial reasoning behind wanting that to be something to be implemented in the first place?
Well, we have a lot of people asking, like, when is this game mode going to be added? When is like a, DJ Technica or name a rhythm game?
Right.
When is X Sound Vortex mode going to be added? And my opinion is, like, if we can let other people work on that themselves, then why not?
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
And at the same time, us has always been about creativity, like from the start. The reason this game has become so big, I think, is the fact that you can just create maps so easily and skins. And this is just adding the next piece to that puzzle, which is creating new game modes. It's like one step up again.
Yeah, and you touched on it again. I keep saying that in the past as well. How about, given that they won't be quote-unquote official game modes, are there any plans for a process through which a user committed or a user submitted game mode could possibly become semi-official with actual scoreboards, etc.?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
that's the direction I want to go.
So you guys would take, for example, similar to a beatmap submission, just on a higher level, because it obviously takes a lot more effort to create an entire game mode. Take a look at it, see how it feels, and then possibly look into coding it into having actual leaderboards?
Yeah, so there would be an approval process. Because rule sets are done using very raw code, we would have to first go through that code and make sure that nothing dodgy is being done in there.
There's no weird Bitcoin miners in the background.
This is to be run on everyone's PCs.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure it's fine from that aspect. Make sure the code quality is good enough, and it's doing everything it needs to do, like handling converts from different game modes and all the little mods and stuff. But yeah, I want to have the ability to just have any game mode become a ranked game mode and get its own scoreboards.
That is so cool, because that is just one of the avenues where you have no idea what people are going to come up with. And I'm sure at some point someone's just going to drop some type of implemented or super well-designed mode that's just going to blow everyone out the water, and it's going to be awesome. I'm really excited because
I challenge someone to do that, because as I've been talking with smoogipoo, like, it's very hard to come up with an original idea for a rhythm game. Like, basically everything has been done.
Peppy, your pizza delivery is ready in the behind you.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Hi. So regarding you were talking about having ranked gameplay, game modes.
Yeah.
Would score-based systems be created by the submitter, or would you have an input in that?
Well, that's actually a good point to touch on. This is Deadbeat, by the way.
I'm the random guy in the background.
Hi there, random guy in the background.
I can't hear you either, sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Just a random bloke off the street that wandered into the office.
So if another game mode, homeless guy just walked in. If another game mode was to be ranked, it's going to use our new standardized scoring system. So we've already made all the existing 4 game modes use a single scoring system. That's what we have implemented right now today in the Lazer client.
Right.
That's what we discussed earlier, the standard and exponential modes. All 4 modes are actually using the exact same algorithm. And yeah, hopefully every game mode will be able to use that algorithm, or that algorithm with very small adjustments.
Same with score submission as well. Like, people are not going to be implementing.
Yeah.
Okay. Any situation in which,
We'll
you
have that
know,
all in place.
any situation in which their mode is so different that it needs a lot of adjustment, then you can just look at that on an individual basis. Yeah, okay, awesome.
Yeah.
I'm super excited to see what people come up with, because people's creativity is endless. Like, just look at what they're doing right now with anything from Aspire.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's gonna be really, really awesome. Anything possibly back end that I might be unaware of? I wrote down possible OpenGL versus DirectX, latency improvements.
DirectX is long gone.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Latency improvements, well, they're already into an extent. Like, okay, the current situation with Lazer is that it's heavily optimized yet unoptimized. Like, we have everything threaded, so like input, audio, update, and draw all have their own threads, and that's working really well. So from an input latency perspective, it's very optimized. The game itself is currently not in a great state. It's been getting worse over time as we implement more things. So we do need to do an optimization pass to bring overall performance back up to the normal level. But I think once we get everything in place, it's going to blow stable away, even on older systems.
We're going to have to do regular optimization passes.
Yeah, that's just how development works. Like, you know, you can spend the time optimizing as you go, but the overhead is just so large, and it's a distraction from getting things done.
Sure. It would slow the process down too much.
Yeah, on my side, I've been working with Tom94 to attempt to optimize a lot of the overdrawing of pixels on the screen.
Yeah, so overdraw is basically in a 2D game, you're drawing a lot of different elements on top of each other, and it's very hard to cull or not draw the things behind the frontmost element, and we're trying to figure out a really nice way of doing that.
Could you elaborate on if you enable FPS, it says audio, input, update, and draw. Out of curiosity, without getting too in-depth, what do those mean?
So the audio and input thread are aiming to run at 1000 FPS or 1000 Hertz. That's one update per each millisecond. That means that any input polling that's happening happens every 1 millisecond. So you're going to get 1 millisecond accuracy on input. Then which is actually performing all the calculations, all the computations for the gameplay. So we also want update to run as quite fast. It doesn't need to be as fast as the other threads because they're basically real-time ones, the other two.
Right.
So update is currently set to run at double the frame rate of draw, and those two are tied to whatever setting you have in your frame limiter.
Okay.
I think the minimum we're aiming for is draw running at VSync. So the good thing about threading everything is that we can actually support VSync, G-Sync especially, where the latency is kind of reduced a bit.
I'm not familiar with G-Sync itself. I know VSync. VSync, for anyone that doesn't know, it matches the frame rate to your monitor refresh rate, is what that is.
Yeah, it just means you don't get screen tearing, in short. And G-Sync is NVIDIA's technology for higher refresh rate monitors. I think a lot of people are going to be on 144 Hz monitors in the very near future.
Because that's the only way to get good, right? I mean, at this point.
No, seriously, it gives you a huge advantage. If you're going to talk about hardware cheats, then 144 Hz, man. But yeah, once you get to that refresh rate...
It's official, guys.
we can actually run the game drawing only 144 times and have the update going at 288 or, you know, 10 times at 1440 FPS. So you're getting computations, your input is being updated under 1 millisecond. And it's being drawn to your screen almost instantly.
Right. So
means, yeah, you know, in short, unstable. If your game was not, you know, some people are like, oh man, my game's only running at 800 FPS. I can't play like this. in laser, the rate your game's running will be the draw rate, and that might be 144. You might be G syncing or V syncing.
Right.
But the update is going to be running at like 1,000, or you can 3,000, 8,000. We can get it up to 10,000 right now on some screens. So it's kind of like separating the tasks out to a point where it's no longer a problem.
Okay.
Latency is no longer going to be an issue.
All of that is sort of separate from input as well, because whereas in stable, even if you're running at 800 FPS, it actually kind of matters because your input is delayed by that frame time. Whereas in
which is
in laser,
currently on the
because
lower right in stable, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Right. Okay.
Whereas in laser, that's running on a separate thread at 1 millisecond time intervals. It doesn't matter what the draw and update are. It's always going to be up to date, really.
Right. Okay. So that's going to be a large improvement because honestly, once it hits like the 2.5, I start kind of feeling a difference. 2 to 2.5, and a lot of people are playing on standard like 10, and I look at him like, you poor soul. This must feel normal to you.
Right?
Yes. Did I say seconds?
No.
Oh.
I was just hoping you weren't saying 2,500 FPS.
Okay, awesome. So a lot of optimization is really what it comes down to. If you don't necessarily care about the mumbo jumbo, it's going to be a lot more efficient in how it handles everything. What are some other things that we might not have touched on yet that might have been the biggest challenges? What are the current prospects of development itself without being, like coming soon, will be done in 2 months? Anything else that comes to your personal mind?
Yeah, just coming from a very general perspective, biggest challenges for me, I think I can talk for smoogipoo as well, is getting everything right. Where we're trying to make sure that every line of code we write, every line of code that we review and merge from other people is not going to kick us in the ass in the future.
Right.
And that takes extra time. That's why laser has taken so long so far, and it's going to take longer because we're making sure that this thing is not going to have bugs. It's not going to fall over when we add more features. It's going to last into the future. It's going to last another 10 or 20 years.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of going through your life with a healthy diet instead of having infinite bags of chips and everything, which is just going to mess you up in the long term, even though it might take less effort short term. Okay. No,
Even more so for the framework. So OS Laser is really split into 2 components. We have the game itself, and then we have the framework that it's built on, the OS framework.
Right. The framework being what other people would use for the game mode implementations that they would want to do as well. Right. Okay.
Yep. So
well, kind of. The framework is this higher than that even. It's if someone wants to make a game, they can do that. It's completely separate from OS. Yeah,
okay.
It's called OS Framework, but you could make a different game.
Gotcha.
It's geared towards rhythm games, but yeah, it's just a game creation framework.
Oh, interesting.
So we're trying to make that as modular as possible and as maintainable as possible and as performant as possible, like all at the same time. So
would you be able to compare that to something like Unity?
Correct.
Like
Yeah.
That's okay. Right. Okay.
Thing.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah, and it's not being widely used yet, but we're hoping that picks up. Like, we've had a lot of people that have used it being like, it's really nice to use. I think it's in a very good state, and you can jump in and you can make amazing animations happen on screen, and just the way you can nest everything, it's really fun to use.
How do you work?
Really
I mean, that's awesome. Yeah. we're all gonna be game designers soon. All right, awesome.
Yeah, at least one other large project being made on it, and that's not public right now. But there's another guy working with the framework.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. You want to do some community questions? We got quite a few. It was hard to kind of trim them down. I All right, let's just start with the first one.
Let's do a speed run. Let's do a speed run, I think.
Any percent. Will there be tag 4 leaderboards in OSU Laser? Now, I'm not entirely confident myself what they mean by that, because tag 4 is... Don't they have scores on them?
Do they?
No? Okay, I might
I don't
just
know.
be
It's
misinformed.
hard to do scores on tag 4 because everyone who gets scores is either using no fail or cheating. Let's not
Oh,
go there.
maybe they mean implementation of actual 4 people having used
yeah.
the map. Oh, okay, sorry.
So my
that was a
answer to
lapse
that
of
is
mind.
that with our new multiplayer system, it's not going to be a maybe not a permanent ranking, but you know, you'll be able to make a multiplayer lobby, which is like tag 4, come play with me, and you know, it can be in a team mode, so you have teams of 4, and you set the tag 4 map, and you set it to run for 30 days, and people come in and join with 4 people and play, and then there's a scoreboard for that lobby.
Right.
That's the end goal of multiplayer, is to make it so anyone can create their own local ranking with whatever special criteria they want. And maybe we can make tag 4, if it's popular enough, maybe it can be like a template. You can be like, select tag 4 match and it'll set everything up for you.
It does sort of fit in well with the infinite lobby sizes as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tag 32, tag 64. So you just
Well,
you just
like,
click
you
a
can
couple
have-
notes, you go make a sandwich, you come back, and it's your turn.
I was reading through the questions, and like, I think an extension on tag 4 would be cool if you could play a map and you had an extra button or an icon on screen where it's like pass to next player, so you could decide to, you know, play sections of the map.
Oh, that's gonna
It'd be
ruin
like,
some
"Okay, I'm
friendships.
done." Yeah, in the middle of one of the death streams.
Do you have any plans for limiting the amount of time that a lobby could run for? Because indefinite seems... No? Oh, okay.
There has to obviously be an upper limit, otherwise things are just going to get messy. But we'll see how it works. I mean, let's say that 30 days is probably the place we'll start and see how it works from there.
One generation
future
per human,
consideration.
like lifetime, like 20 years. Seems a good amount.
Yeah, sure.
Are ranked teams or guilds, or however you want to call it, still a thing that's on the horizon? I remember it being talked about quite a bit 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then it kind of fell off the map.
So we have the designs from Flight for all the team pages and stuff, and the people that are working on the web project. We should do a coffee hour on the new website at some point.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's kind of going
Hold
off
on,
topic
let me
because
write
this
things
is a
down. New website and skinning. All right.
Yeah. So all the designs are there, and it's been designed with that in mind, with teams coming. We're going to finish getting the new website one-to-one feature parity, so we can actually push it out and get rid of that old ugly site.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people probably like that design, but no, I'm over it. I was over it many years ago.
Those people are generally currently at this point in seniority homes. I mean, by the time Laser's released, it's okay. A little bit dark. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, so once the site is up, we're going to start adding new features, and Teams is probably going to be the first one to be added.
That's really cool. What are actually like real life applications, if you will, of the teams? What is the thought behind it? What would it mainly be used for?
I don't know. Just organizing people, I guess.
A lot of things. I mean, have like team rankings.
Yeah. To me, the main thing is just allowing people to group together and show their alliance, and we'll see.
We're gonna have gang
what,
wars. We're gonna make the news and
Well,
everything.
I mean, there's a reason we're not calling them clans. I want to make it seem more friendly, so that's why we got the team's name. But
Friendship groups.
we'll see.
Friendship get-together. Book clubs.
Best friends.
Yeah, you'll have two categories, friends and best friends. Okay. So that is still on the table, is the conclusion.
Yeah, and you know, at very least, we want to allow private chat channels for teams, so they have a place to talk.
That's
which
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright. Let me check. What's the current status of non-standard game modes and laser? Okay, we already went over that. Do you think enough priority is being put into them? Specific editor, star rate, formula, revamps, etc. I feel like you touched on that in the sense that the answer to all that is yes. It seems like you're very serious about the importance of these extra game modes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a discussion with Peppy just a few days ago about star rating and PP and how that's going to work. I think like we can improve it as much as we both can, but we're not good at that stuff.
As in actually improving the PP algorithm?
Yeah.
No,
Are you talking algorithms, like the actual coding stuff, or are you talking about perspective of which aspects are important to put into the system?
I think it's all in one package at the end of the day. Like the coding part is easy. If someone gives us an algorithm,
yeah.
Two fingers. Don't even need 10 fingers. 2 fingers.
no, but the main thing is having perspective, doing proper testing across, the how many thousand maps do we have ranked? There's always edge cases, and even like when I was actually doing iterations on PP, there were always edge blacklisted, so they don't go off the scale. As far
Sorry,
as
you cut off for a second. That was my internet. Could you reiterate like the last sentence? You have edge cases that. If you remember what you said.
Even in the current PP system, there's cases where we have maps blacklisted or specially listed.
Oh, okay, right.
To not break the system.
Right.
And it's hard to avoid that, I think.
Yeah. Again, because people's creativity and whatever direction they're going is unlimited, so it's impossible.
It's a whole new can of worms. But touchscreen players, that's mapping for touchscreens suddenly breaks PP completely because it doesn't expect people to be able to jump that accurately on a consistent basis.
We see a lot of PP farming nowadays. Like imagine the current algorithm has not really aged all that well with some maps, so it's going to take a lot of maintenance with any PP system.
Yeah, the difficult thing that I feel will always be a problem is that no matter the system that you have in place, and people tend to forget that aspect, is that mappers, or PP mappers, quote unquote, will always, or the general meta will always gravitate towards what gives most PP, no matter the system. It's impossible to make a system that, is immune to that. But yeah, okay. So...
I don't know. At the end of the day, like my goal with PP is as long as people are enjoying it and not like raging at the system, then it's doing a good job.
Right.
I obviously like I don't have statistical analysis background, and I mean I used to like math, but I've forgotten everything I learned about it. So we need more people that are willing to help us.
There's a lot of
guide
PP, and you also need to play the game to know what is.
Yeah, that as well.
At least get top 1K, and then.
I don't have the time. I don't have the time to play the game.
So, I lost my question. Wait, so, maybe because of what I just mentioned, maybe have, say, a yearly update to the system where it kind of at least keeps mappers on their feet, right? Because eventually any system is eventually going to be quote unquote solved in favor of high PP maps, but if you change it over time, not necessarily drastically, but at least you keep the meta on its toes in a way, would be my first thought.
No, it definitely, with the release of Lazer, I think it's going to give us a kind of fresh slate to start on as far as ranking and PP is concerned. And if we get off on a good start, and people aren't used to this 10-year-old scoreboard which everyone expects to be there forever, if we can have this more dynamic environment, we can iterate on the way scoring works, and mix things up a bit. But I think it may be quite fun to keep things a bit more dynamic.
Oh, my internet took a dump for a second, but we're good. Because I remember back when PPV2 was initially launched, the idea was to have it be a maintained system, but that just happened, that over time just wasn't realistic, right?
Yeah, well, the maintainer got a job.
Yeah. Good for him. I mean, okay.
But we are looking for people to help out, and like I have reached out to the PP Plus guys. I noticed someone said that in chat, but I haven't really heard much back from them.
Right.
We did provide them with a bit of source
Maybe
code
they
and
also
stuff.
got a job. I don't know. It's
But yeah,
The system itself is going to be modular enough that anyone should be able to jump in, implement their own algorithm, test it, and see how it works. And
right. So regardless of
go from
how it's
there.
gonna be, it'll always be easier than it is now. Is what it comes down to. If I'm, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Now, controversial question. Is it completely confirmed that Score V2 is going to replace Score V1 with the implementation of
first of all,
laser?
It's not existing.
first of all, we're both sick of hearing Score V2,
Oh,
and I don't think it can even be called Score V2 because it's had so many iterations. It's probably like V2.09.112 or something. Because it has been updated every time there's a tournament to,
isn't it
adjust
called
slightly.
Score V2 in the game though? I mean, it's.
Sure,
Can't really.
but-
So
No, I get what you mean though.
we're dropping the V2, and I don't think it's going to be
Next
V3
update,
either. It's just
live
it's
in
just
30
gonna be
minutes.
Scoring.
Score V12.
No, but we don't want a versioning system on scoring.
No,
We're
I-
hoping to
yeah.
get it right and just let it be that way.
Right. Okay. A question
if-
remains. What's the idea to currently? What is the idea in terms of implementing it possibly into laser permanently, or? Because I remember we had a lot of talks about it at Anime Expo. Varying
What,
opinions. Yeah.
Well, as we discussed earlier, the new standardized scoring we're using is likely going to be the way forward.
Okay.
If we do use that, we are able to recalculate all existing scores. So if we do decide, I'm not making any promises either way because I am still neutral and not undecided. But if we do
Right.
decide to keep the old rankings in place and have score submissions still going to them, we can do that. We can convert every old score very easily to the new standardized scoring.
At the same time, we've also discussed using the exponential scoring just as on top of the old scoring as well. Just because it does give you the large score, we can still use that to get top
Yeah.
place. And
Yeah, I mean, it's an impossible task to please everyone. I can totally understand that, but it's still very much up in the air as to what the finalized aspect. I feel like the ranking system in a way is similar to, even though much more important, similar to 2B. One of the things that will be closely looked at once other stuff is finished.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right? That's the general idea that I'm getting. Okay,
Yeah,
which makes a lot of
multiplayer
sense.
first. Multiplayer, let people try out the new scoring systems we have in place because we do need them to be tested and we need feedback on them. And once we're at that point, I'm sure there's going to be huge discussions in the community on how people think we should be going forward and stuff. There's going to be no shortage of opinions, and we'll take it step by step.
Okay. The next question would be, are you planning to convert old scores to Score V2? But you already said that. Possibly.
Be done. We made to do.
Oh no, my internet. I'm so sorry. Wait, you're back. You literally glitched out through the entire answer. Go ahead.
So the new scoring system we made, we had that in mind when we made it, the ability to convert. So we're leaving that as an open possibility.
Right. Okay. Will the star rating for Catch the Beat be fixed or adjusted? I remember, what was it, a 19-star map that XCon SS'd?
Yeah. You can help us fix that. I mean, I haven't re-implemented the star rating yet, but I will probably re-implement it the same way it was implemented in stable, and then we can go from there.
Okay. It'll be downgraded
Please,
to an
if
18-star map instead.
Yeah, if you're able to help, if you're a catch player and you're interested in the star rating, then jump on the dev Discord and get in discussion with us.
And where is the link for that for anyone that would like to?
Discord.gg/ppy.
Okay. All right. So again, public call out if you're interested in joining in for the Catch the Beat star rating stuff. Discord.gg/ppy. Question number 7. Are improvement plans for the conversion systems for the other game modes?
Yeah, again, we're still deciding whether we want to break things, and if I think we do want to break things and improve conversion, but it does break any existing rankings. So there's that. And
Oh,
the
right,
other option
yeah.
is the other option is only applying it to new beat maps. So there's that as well. We can just have a new conversion system for every new map ranked from
For
point of release onwards.
conversion systems, that wouldn't be as big of an issue, because then you just have a different map rather than how the map is treated by the scoring system, right?
Yeah, I guess. But it means any score which has already been set is no longer applicable.
No, but if you only, like, it's quite simple to only apply it to new maps moving forward
Yeah,
and just leaving the old ones, and that wouldn't really be a point of contention, whereas with score and ranking, it would be.
Well, I mean, potentially we could just apply score changes to new ranked maps as well. That's an option. There's plenty of options available.
Yeah, there's no shortage. What has by far been the hardest feature of Lazer to develop? Maybe two separate answers? I don't know. What? Maybe you have the same idea?
Personally, I think the Mania conversion was actually the hardest for me. It's just because that is so tedious. There's a lot of edge cases in that part of the code. There's a lot of code, there's a lot of numbers, there's a lot of random
coding and numbers. Huh. Okay. And for you personally, Peppy?
I mean, I already brought it up earlier in the conversation, just getting everything right, making sure that the code is of high quality.
Yeah, keeping the house clean.
And we get people submitting code, and I'd say 70% of the submissions require so much effort from our side because they're not up to standard that it would be faster to write it ourselves. But at the same time, you don't want to, these people are contributing code, so you want to try and guide them in the correct direction, but it's hard to decide whether to spend that extra effort at times.
Huh. Yeah, that's tough. No, I can imagine that. Yeah. Okay, let me check. Oh, our last community question that we've written down, but a very spicy one. Will dynamic AR, being changing AR via mapping mid-map, or customizable AR beforehand by the player itself, ever be considered as an implemented feature?
I think it goes for every single thing, not just AR, OD, and circle size, maybe even HP as well. I certainly think it's a feature that I want, at least.
Yeah, we've been designing with that in mind. Hit objects can already have their own settings on a per object basis, which isn't something we could do in stable. So we have that in mind. Yeah. Oh,
like different circle sizes going through the map.
Different OD, different AR on a per object basis.
And how, like, what's the difference there? Because obviously, if a mapper does it and it gets ranked, then everyone plays the same thing. But if a user sets it themselves, how would you possibly handle scoring system based on that?
It would probably be unranked at that point.
Yeah, either unranked or like percentage reduction in scoring.
Okay,
at the same time,
So adjustable specifics per on the user side wouldn't really be a thing where it would then still be ranked, right? Like putting an AR9 map on AR10 for your personal because you can't really read AR9 wouldn't be possible.
Yeah, I mean that's up for debate as well. Personally, I'm of the side where I think that AI should be a user setting from the start. Like it shouldn't be something the mapper sets. The relative, like if we have the ability for dynamic AR to exist in a map, multiple different AR values, then the relative part should still stay, but the user should have the ability to adjust their overall setting. That's my personal opinion, and I know last time we did a poll on this, it was split like 50-50, so we'll see where that goes. But at very least, it's going to be available as an unranked option.
Okay, all right, that's cool. Okay, so the conclusion is it is probably going to be possible on a mapped basis to change per object itself, including AR. So every single setting.
Yeah.
Awesome. That will also be super interesting. Okay, and then on a user setting for now would become unranked. Possibly AR would be editable on a user basis.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right? Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah, because I mean we've seen it implemented in other OS implementations, and people do enjoy playing with that. Like it's nice to be able to load up a map that you enjoy and play it the way you want to play it. So I don't want to stop people from
I mean,
doing that.
I have a can of worms to open up on it, but I'm gonna keep it closed.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I also just see in the comments on the Twitch, the speed mods 1.1 times, 1.2 times. Definitely something that we're considering right now. I think something that we both want.
You mean as in double time but less?
Yeah,
Yeah, like in
like a slider thing.
I want to be able to
Yeah.
drag up on the double time mod and just like move it halfway up and
double
it'll
time,
go, like,
double and a little bit, double and a little bit more time, double and a half time. All right.
Again,
okay.
we can't guarantee that'll be ranked,
Yeah.
but we do want the ability to play that for enjoyment.
You could in reality you could probably figure out a way to kind of scale. Be another can of worms where that that would be.
Let's leave
Yeah.
that.
Let's keep scoring until like.
Yeah, no,
balance-
definitely.
balancing.
It's a fun train of thought to go down.
Yeah.
It's definitely it's a lot of fun, and there's
I
infinite
have things
ways
I
in
want to
which you
say,
can.
but I'm not going to say them.
Yeah. All right. Anything more that you guys possibly feel like touching on that? Because we're done with the community questions. Anything else? Possibly.
For anyone that hasn't tried Laser, go download it. All the people that are like, Laser, when? Like,
Let's get a link in chat really quick. Let me do that.
yeah. I've said in instances that I'm going to quit dev if Laser isn't out in 2017, and I still
Typoed.
hold
It was
by
supposed
that.
to be an 8. It was supposed to be an 8.
Obviously we're not going to have complete scoring in there, and that was never my goal for 2017. But having Laser out in a digestible package which can run alongside stable and provides an enjoyable experience that can't be experienced in stable, that is my goal in this year, and that is going to come in the form of multiplayer, and that's definitely going to be done this year.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. That one. This was the longest episode. Yeah, we went far over an hour, which is awesome. I
did.
mean, really. Yeah, it's been an hour and 20 minutes. Good job, us.
Yeah.
Given the initial tech difficulties, I was a little bit wobbly, but no, that was very
You
productive.
got timed out
Awesome.
on Twitch chat.
Sorry,
Got timed out on Twitch chat.
I did.
Yeah. You spammed a bit too much.
Oh, I still see it. I might have been okay. Might have been a little bit overzealous. I don't know. All right. Well,
That's okay.
thank you guys so much for, again, 8 a.m. Well, currently a little bit later than that, but thank you guys so much for taking the time. That was an awesome talk. I think a lot of people will walk away, I hope pretty excited for everything that's going to be happening.
Yeah,
Hope so.
we're excited.
Yeah, we're excited.
I like
day.
the things in the background, by the way. Are those from Anime Expo?
That's the AX stuff. Yep.
Yeah, awesome. I'm jealous of UCI who got the big cutouts and everything.
Yeah. No, we'll have to send you one as well. I think you've deserved it running the coffee hours. We've got a
I'm
few
gonna
left
hold
over,
you
so-
to that.
Maybe we can
That would be
organize that,
awesome
yeah.
in the background. No, thank you guys so much for taking the time, being on.
Yep. Thank you for having us.
I'm sure in the future
for having
there'll
me.
be another one with a different person, creepy person in the background, lurking left and right. No.
I think Deadbeat wants to say goodbye.
I don't even know when I'm on screen or not anymore.
Yeah, it's a bit of latency over here, but
All right. Well, have a wonderful. You're probably gonna take a nap because you got 2 hours of sleep. So
no, we're going to dev all day.
Oh, Devin out, not gaming out. Devin out.
I'll be keeping an eye on them.
I'm coding.
All right,
I don't know
guys.
about these guys.
Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you again. And I'm sure we'll see you guys again. All right. Have a good one, guys.
Sound muted.
Oh, I muted during the bye. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. That was an extremely productive talk. I'm personally really excited for everything that's gonna be happening. And yeah, very productive talk. I hope you guys sound muted. What do you mean? Oh, them muted. Gotcha. We're good. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you want to check out OSA Laser yourself, you are more than encouraged to. We linked it in chat. I'm sure someone can link it again if you're looking for it, or just Google OSA Laser and it's gonna bring you to the GitHub page. So yeah, we will see you guys again in a couple weeks for the next episode. I can already tell you it's likely going to be on the OWC, OSA World Cup. No 100% guarantee, but likely. That's the plan. Now, plans do depend on who can actually join in on said plan, but that's what we're aiming for. So that's another exciting thing to look forward to. But thank you guys again for being here, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a wonderful rest of your day.